October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we want to shed some light on a type of abuse that many don't even realize is such a problem.
It's a tool readily available to any abuser and very difficult for victims to detect. CBS 2's Jessica Layton with more on the dangers of cyberstalking and how to protect yourself.
Your partner knows where you were last night, even though you did not tell them.
It's so simple, it's scary. Software that allows a stalker to secretly spy through an unsuspecting person's cell phone without their consent. Experts call it stalkerware and warn its use is rapidly on the rise, increasing 60% from September 2020 to May 2021.
Well, unfortunately, it's been on the increase. From being a few hundred apps available in the marketplace.
The concept may have started with decent intentions, parents installing apps to keep tabs on their kids. But as Tony Anscombe with ESET Internet Security explains, it's turned into an industry where a stalker can track a victim's every move without them ever realizing it.
These apps can keylog, so they can see every keystroke on your device. They can extract all the information from your contacts, your messages, your email.
The dangerous app disguises itself as something that's an important function of the operating device on the phone.
And it only takes minutes to install. So in the time it takes a person to get up to use the bathroom, take a shower, or make a snack, their partner may already have them under surveillance.
To what my next guest in his committee uncovered. Congressman Jim Jordan, chair of the Weaponization Committee, joins me now. Congressman, this seems surreal. Now, that whistleblower said there's hardly any recourse because the FBI just investigates itself.
Yeah, he won a promotion. He was transferred from Kansas to Virginia. The day he gets here, he learns that they suspended his clearance, said they questioned his allegiance to the country. A guy who did 2 tours in our armed services for our country, questioned his allegiance, won't let him get access to all his belongings, his clothes, his furniture. 4 children, a 2-week-old newborn, wouldn't let him get access to their clothes, their toys, their winter coats. That's how bad it was. So here's what we know, Laura. We know from the Durham report that these agencies have been weaponized and they'll go after a presidential candidate. But it's worse today because they will target the people. A parent at a school board meeting,
right.
A pro-lifer praying at a clinic, a Catholic attending mass. They will target people. And if you're brave like Mr. O'Boyle and you come forward and tell the truth, then they will try to crush you. They will retaliate against you just like they did to Garrett O'Boyle, a guy who served our country and is now with 250 days without getting paid because they took his clearance from him.
Well, they're trying to frighten people, right?
Yes.
From telling the truth about what they're really doing. They want to intimidate people from speaking the truth. Are they not trying to do this?
That's exactly what's happening. Over the last year and a half, we've had dozens of whistleblowers come talk to us, but now we've interviewed most of these people. We've talked to a lot of them. We've interviewed some of them for a sit-down interview, and the 3 that are coming for tomorrow are folks who were willing to go public. Others are nervous about going public. They've come and talked to us, but they're afraid about going public because of this retaliation. So, yeah, it's all designed to chill. And it's not just limited to the FBI. The Democrats on the committee leaked material from the individuals' interviews, and it went to the press. Everyone in the press, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Rolling, they all had to issue corrections because what the Democrats told them wasn't accurate. That's how the hostility towards these guys, how they're trying to chill and stop. Brave people who believe in the Constitution, who are driven by their conscience to come tell us what's going on. They're trying to stop that. It goes all the way to the committee.
Hundreds of people in the valley say they are hearing voices in their heads. And those voices are being transmitted by microwave or other methods.
Well, several viewers asked us to investigate what they call electronic harassment. KMIR6's Angela Monroe joins us now with what she's discovered. Angela.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon and several Valley residents who say they're victims.
How much more can you invade me than to go into my brain? It sounds like somebody else is reading the book, only it's thoughts.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
These men all live in the area, didn't know each other before the voices started, and say someone is playing mind games with them.
Mostly it's a lot of derogatory comments about whatever you're thinking about.
Only time I ever had a whole sentence, he said, "This is not about you," which just frosted me. If it's not about me, what the hell am I going through all this for?
Kevin Bond says he used to have a normal life.
I was living in the San Diego area. I was clerking for a federal judge, and I noticed that I was being followed by a whole bunch of people.
According to the websites, what Bond is describing is called gang stalking. He moved to Palm Springs to escape.
I started hearing, as you'll hear, hearing voices, and what they'll call voice to skull or microwave hearing.
And off the top here at 10, we live in a world of surveillance. But after hidden cameras were found in the Union Hill area of Redmond, not far from another neighborhood plagued by a string of break-ins and burglaries, neighbors are understandably rattled. Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. I'm David Rose.
And I'm Jamie Tompkins. It's not just the discovery that has them upset, but what was caught on those cameras. Fox 13's Nia Wong joins us live from the newsroom with this creepy discovery. Nia, what is going on here?
Neighbors tell me they're already scared about burglaries that have happened in Redmond and King County. But now these hidden cameras have given them a whole new set of worries.
Walking to the bus stop is a bonding moment for David Springate and his kids.
He likes to find things. You know, all kids are very excited about new and fun things.
What his 11-year-old son found on February 1st left Springate unsettled.
He pointed out that he found a little out-of-place branch.
Hidden and hot glued with foliage.
They cut a little bit of the tree there to, help it blend in with the native stuff.
Springate found this trail cam pointed in the direction of where a school bus picks up his kids.
Reached out to my neighbors to say, hey, did anyone place a camera down there?
When none of his neighbors claimed the device, Springate investigated what was inside. And he found himself in the very spot where the camera was discovered. And that's not all.
You could see in the images that there was my teenage daughter. You saw my kids, my elementary age kids come and be down there and then wait for the bus.
Weeks later, and only a few yards away,
it would happen to be pointed at his driveway, looking up as if to track the vehicles.
This trail cam was found in front of his neighbor's home.
Maybe they were wildlife tracking. The cameras weren't pointed towards where the wildlife tracked.
Both cameras took pictures of the person who may have installed them.
He was doing it at 3 in the morning, so it's a very just black and white, grainy picture on it.
Just enough to give a body shot and a close-up. But Springate still doesn't know who's been able to watch him, his family, and his neighbors.
The camera is connected through the cellular network. All those images were being potentially uploaded directly to whoever had placed the camera there.
Springate turned the trail cam over to the King County Sheriff's Office. He says he was told
there's really no crime. Potentially, you could have a trespassing if they came onto the thing. So they're going to keep it as found property. Once a crime is committed, then they can use it as reason to get the records from the company that owns that manufactures the camera.
While Springate says some of his neighbors are adding more security measures to their homes.
It's a quarter of a mile to get from our house down to the bus stop.
This Union Hill father is doing what he can as a parent to protect his kids.
Tiny cameras, hidden in clocks, chargers, and even pens. Almost impossible to spot. Okay, here we are. To help protect your privacy, let's see, what do we got here? We put hidden camera detectors to the test. Looking to see if anybody's looking at me. Detectors are advertised as tools to protect your family on vacation, but do they really work? Our crew hid 5 cameras in this vacation rental. If I was going to spy on someone, where would I put a camera? First, I tried to spot them myself. Where would you be, camera? Oh, is this one? Is this a camera? Oh, I think I found one. All right. I only found one, so I brought in some help. We're putting 2 devices to the test. This one is an LED hidden device detector. You look through the infrared viewfinder and you should be able to find the red light from the camera lens. It costs about $20. This one is a bit more expensive. It runs around $40, but it's supposed to detect the radio frequency waves with loud beeping. Okay, let's take this one upstairs, see what we can find. Let's go to the bedroom. Is it the remote? Well, let me do another sweep. Maybe it's picking it up from somewhere else. Let's try the alarm clock. That's an everyday item. Bingo. The RF detector also led me to this pen.
Okay, it's really beeping like crazy over here. There it is. I passed over this pen. Like, I didn't even look at this.
This is the camera. This is crazy. And it beeped loudly for the smoke detector. This is the, worst nightmare. Your privacy in the bathroom. Are they creeping in here? Oh, yes, they are. With the smoke detector. But it didn't go off for this phone charger, even though you can see it was watching me. So was it this thing? No, that's just a charger. I passed by the charger several times, even with the viewfinder. Is that one within this deal? No, that's just a plug. The camera should light up like this, but it was hard to see those tiny lenses from far away. We ordered all of this on Amazon, less than $300 total.
Yeah, it's right in the deer eyeball.
At Fox's spy outlet in Sacramento.
Some headphones, we have some key fobs.
The cameras are more creative, even hidden with your morning coffee.
On the top, you'll see the spot where you would normally drink. And then you see the little heat marks saying, okay, it's a hot. That's your on button. And then your camera lens is right here.
Manager Scott Olson says customers come in with concerns about vacation rentals.
People coming in here saying that when they travel, they get a bad feeling that they're being watched.
He says it's not a bad idea to pack some extra equipment for your next trip.
Having equipment to make sure that your privacy is being protected is very wise.
Smart tips to make sure your vacation memories are captured only by you. So yeah, you have to not just look for regular type of cameras. You need to look at your everyday items. Ha! Gotcha. In South Lake Tahoe. Michelle Bandor, KCRA 3 News.
That your phone can deliver such extraordinary experiences, things like the fastest way to get home or a show or a podcast you might enjoy, is because it tracks you. It tracks information about your behavior and where you go in the world. Now, it turns out that a company is selling that information to police such that they can surveil millions of Americans in their most intimate habits, and they can do it without a warrant. When you download an app and it asks if it can use your location data, you probably understand that you're letting that company know where you are from now on.
What you probably didn't know is that you also gave the app the permission to sell that data to pretty much anyone.
And now a privacy group has discovered that dozens of law enforcement agencies across the country have been buying that data in a piece of software called Fog Reveal, which says it can give them the power to track the movements of 250 million Americans, often without a warrant. A 2019 user's manual from the company, received from a police department under a Freedom of Information Act request, promises that what used to require, quote, witness interviews and travel records can now be revealed in minutes.
Even if your local law enforcement agency didn't have a contract with FOG, it's likely that your data was caught up and is in FOG's database.
Here's the thing. You and I and anyone else walking around with a phone the last few years has already been inside a vast surveillance network. But the police didn't build it. The tech industry did. They did it so that they could follow our habits and predict our patterns and basically follow our location so they could sell us stuff. The police are just purchasing access to that system like anyone else. And here's what they're getting for their money. There is no record of the San Francisco Police Department using Fog Reveal, but let's take a day in this city as an example. First, I went to the heart of the downtown waterfront, the Embarcadero, to meet Patrick Jackson, an expert in tracking technology. What kinds of information can a data broker amass from all these different apps we've given permission to?
So they collect everything. They may collect your email. Another app, they may collect your phone number. But those pieces of data are tied together with something called an advertising identifier.
Does that include where you have been?
Yes.
A spokesperson for the company that makes Fog Reveal says it does not display personally identifying information to police.
So what Fog, as I understand, is serving up is just the identification of some devices that are in an area, not tied to the actual person. So there are advertising related IDs for each device. However, they do not give who the person is, who the cell phone number is.
Jackson says that doesn't matter.
We're increasingly seeing that this data has been used to make this anonymous data no longer anonymous.
Even though I think I have an individual private relationship with each app, in fact, behind the scenes, it's all coming together and creating this portrait of me.
And there's buyers for this data. It could be private market, it could be governments, police stations. Anybody can access this data from these data brokers as long as they have a checkbook, and users have no idea it's happening.
Another big story tonight. After 9/11, the Department of Homeland Security created a network of regional offices called fusion centers. And there's one right here in Meridian. The idea was to incorporate local law enforcement into the effort to stop terrorism. But some say it's just keeping track of law-abiding citizens. Tonight, in an On Your Side investigation, I look at the good and bad of the Idaho Fusion Center.
She has been through a tremendous, horrific ordeal.
When Hannah Anderson went missing 2 years ago and was rescued in the Frank Church Wilderness of No Return, a fusion center helped coordinate the effort.
I was able to immediately call an FBI agent and say, we have something here that we probably want to look at.
Sergeant Dave Neth with Idaho State Police runs an Idaho Fusion Center out of the State Patrol headquarters. He says the impact of a few desks and computers can be huge.
It'd be a clearinghouse of the information for law enforcement, for criminal activity.
The Canyon County Sheriff thinks it's important enough that he pays for part-time staffers in the Fusion Center.
It really helps us have a finger on the pulse. Tremendous benefit to law enforcement. And quite frankly, even from a national security standpoint.
But our own federal government disagrees. A 2012 report by the Bipartisan Senate Subcommittee on Investigations called fusion centers a clear waste of time and money. The 141-page report calls the centers pools of ineptitude, waste, and civil liberties intrusions. The committee found fusion centers often produced irrelevant, useless, or inappropriate intelligence to Homeland Security. But much of the information was kept regardless.
When we break it down, it's over 800,000 operatives, government operatives across the country that are essentially centralizing information on all Americans in the guise of trying to find information about terrorism.
We have the analysts, we have the phone line, and our analysts are good at taking in those tips, vetting them.
The Senate report indicated analysts didn't get the training needed to be effective at vetting possible terror issues.
How extensive is that training? It's either 1 to 2 days, depending on the level that you take of it.
But is that enough to vet thousands of suspicious activity reports a year? The Senate report said no fusion centers had come up with significant information on terrorist activities since they were started in 2009.
Government reports show that they really haven't been as successful, and the information that they're gathering really has not been as useful as well with regards to their intended goal.
The ACLU says fusion centers are an opportunity for the federal government to co-opt local law enforcement in an effort to do what the CIA is not allowed to do.
It's moving in the direction of domestic surveillance to the level that we have never seen before.
Back at the Fusion Center, they see it a different way.
We work with Department of Homeland Security, DHS, and FBI. We don't do anything with the CIA. Everybody's on the same team. We care about Idaho. We care about the safety of the people in Idaho.
I think that the moment we begin to become less concerned about these fundamental separations and protections that we have against the government is the moment that our own personal freedom, begins to be sacrificed.
Federal Appeals Court said that a controversial government surveillance program is illegal. It is the formerly top secret program that gathers massive amounts of data on phone calls, not the conversations themselves, but the information on who's calling whom. Jan Crawford is our chief legal correspondent and joins us tonight. Jan, what does this decision mean?
Well, I mean, it's a legal matter. I think it's largely symbolic. The appeals court said that telephone data collection program was not authorized by Congress under the Patriot Act. But that law is going to expire in 3 weeks anyway. I mean, the court did not decide the bigger questions of whether the program violated the Fourth Amendment, and it said it could continue for the next few weeks. So what this decision does is put the responsibility for continuing the program in the future on Congress. And already, Scott, we have seen senators today from both sides of the aisle saying they are not willing to do that.
Jan Crawford, thank you very much.